So, let me continue from where I stopped. So, I successfully gave birth to our son, and normally, after the child is born, after the labor pain, child is born, then comes the second labor pain where the placenta is supposed to be born. Yeah. So, 30 minutes later, my placenta is not coming out. And I was not really shocked because I have passed through this thing before. So I was just like, oh my God, this thing is happening again. Why? Why is this happening again? I was not shocked, but I was getting a bit scared because I have gone through this thing before. 30 minutes later, where is the placenta? The placenta is not coming out. My midwife has started asking questions. Where is the placenta? The midwife has started running around, doing all manner of things to help me deliver this placenta. And I just knew inside me, I just said, oh shit, this is happening again. I can't believe it because I've had this thing before. When I was delivering my daughter 13 years ago, I experienced the same thing. I went through the same thing. I delivered the child very well, and the placenta was never delivered. Not even a small piece. Not even a case that you can say part of it came and part of it remained inside. No, this was a case of a fully retained placenta. As actually the condition is called placenta retention. I don't know what causes it. There are a lot of causes anyway. Some is just genetic or just how somebody's uterus is. So inside me I was really sad that why am I experiencing this thing for the second time? Because I remember the first time how I almost died, and that was in Kenya. So the midwife at a point my midwife starts to panic and say, oh, excuse me, Irene, what do you want me to do with you? My midwife asking me, Irene, what do I do? Your placenta is not coming out. And she tries to pull out this placenta manually with her hands, and what follows was a gush of blood, and I started to bleed non-stop. Guys. And she gets into panic. She got into panic and started calling the doctors. Yeah. So the doctors came, and the doctor tried to remove it also. The doctor also tried to remove it, and what followed was just a lot of blood. And at this point, I started to bleed non-stop. I bled so much. So it is at this point that the doctor told me and told my husband, unfortunately, they have to take me to the theater to remove this placenta. And at this point, when she was telling me that, I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain, guys. The pain, from the labor pain, from the oxytocin that they injected me so as to remove the placenta, and my back was on fire. I could not even lie down anymore. The labor pains were too much. The artificial labor pain, the one they injected me so that the placenta can come out, it was just unbearable. The pain was unbearable. I just remember I was just screaming. I was just screaming for my life. I was in so much pain. I remember them telling me to stand up and help them move to another bed so that they can transfer me to the theater. I remember telling them, I cannot stand, I cannot walk, I'm in so much pain. So they carried me transferred me to the next bed and rushed me to the theater. Thanks God, that morning they brought us breakfast. They brought my husband and I breakfast. A few hours to my delivery, yeah? And I remember I refused to eat anything. I didn't eat anything, I didn't drink anything. I just told my husband, I am not in the mood of eating or drinking. Let me, after I safely deliver them, I will enjoy my breakfast. But until this child is born, I am not going to eat. I'm not in the mood of eating anything. Thanks God I denied this food because thanks God I refused to eat this food. Little did I know that I was going to land in the theater. Yeah. So I remember the doctors asking my husband if I ate anything. And he told them, no, I didn't eat anything. My food is still lying around there. So they have to rush me to the theater and evacuate this placenta. And I was bleeding like a slaughtered chicken. I was bleeding like nonsense. And I was in so much pain. When we reached the theater, I was in so much pain. I could not even lie down. They didn't take much time and injected me they put me. I don't even remember anything. I don't remember anything, guys. I just remember that I at some point I was awake, but I could not open my eyes. I tried to open my eyes. I could not open my eyes, and I was so cold. I was feeling so cold. I have never felt so cold like that. I think that is the point where my blood pressure went down. My blood pressure was so down, and as they told me that at a point they had to stabilize me because my blood pressure was very, very down, and I had lost a lot of blood, so much blood that for them to, after the procedure, for them to bring me back to normality, it really took them a lot of time. It really they had to do a lot of things for me to be back. They were almost losing me. They told me that. So after that, I remember I was feeling so cold. I was so cold, and all this time I could not even open my eyes. I would open my eyes just halfway and see everywhere just full of doctors. My bed was full of doctors. All the doctors you can imagine were around. Imagine of what surrounding my bed. I would open my eyes just halfway and go off again, and just hear people talking from the background. All I can remember is I kept on saying, I'm feeling cold, I'm feeling cold, I'm feeling cold. And I was shivering like nothing. I was shivering so much. So I don't remember anything after that. I just remember that after some time, I came back to consciousness, and I had a heater under my blanket. I had like 3 big covers with a heater inside because I was so cold. I was like dead. I was like a dead person. I felt like a dead body. So here I am, being stabilized, back to normal. I am in, where was I? I was still in the theater, in the workroom. I was there the whole day. From morning, remember I gave birth in the morning, at 9 o'clock in the morning. I never even had the opportunity to hold my baby. And then this thing happened and I had to be rushed away. So I was in this room, I was in this theater, in the workroom, the whole day, them trying to bring me back to normal. them trying to do everything to stabilize me. Yeah, so it is until in the evening after running some tests on me, then I got a blood transfusion, and later that day, around 11 o'clock at night, is when I was transferred to the ward where my baby was, and that is the time I saw my baby again and was able to hold my baby. Yeah, so that is what transpired, guys. It was not easy, it was not nice. And actually, why I decided to talk about this thing is because many women have died through this. I've gone through the same thing, and some of them died, some of them survived it. But what can be done? It happens, it happens. It depends where you are. If you are lucky, you survive the situation. If you are not lucky, you die. Yeah, but I was lucky to have survived this condition for the second time. I'm a very lucky person. Yeah, I'm a very, very lucky person. Yeah. So many women give birth normally without any complications, and they die afterwards because of what happens after childbirth. Some of them die after going home, after delivering the baby, going home with the baby, and then complications occur, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all kind of things. Yeah, so we just have to pray that we survive all this. But yeah, I thank God that I overcame this situation. Yeah. So guys, that's all I wanted to share with you. Yeah. See you next time. And I hope that I've created some awareness. Anyway, there's nothing that someone can do to prevent this placenta retention. It just happens. It is not something that I can say, do this and do this and do this so that it doesn't happen. You just have to be careful. That they remove everything, because after they remove the placenta, it doesn't come. Not everything comes out. Some pieces will still remain, and you still go for checkup. They will still scan you and see if all of it has come out. So in my case, also I had to go to the hospital 3 times for them to finally remove all the placenta from my uterus. Yeah. And the first time with my first pregnancy, it was even worse. When I gave birth in Kenya, in this case, they removed the placenta manually using the hand. I was not taken to the theater. I was not injected anything for pain relief. They removed it manually, and I bled. I lost a lot of blood in the process. A lot. I just remember at some point when they were using a cup and scooping my blood into a bucket. I can remember that very well. When I gave back to my daughter. And what happened afterwards is that 2 months later, after giving back to my daughter in Kenya, I came to realize that they never removed all the placenta because I never stopped bleeding. I was still bleeding 2 months after childbirth, still bleeding like someone who just gave birth. And I was bleeding so much, and the blood was not becoming, the bleeding was not becoming less, which is not normal. Because when you give birth, the bleeding should be reducing each day until you stop bleeding. In my own case, it was opposite. I was bleeding more and more and more and more. And being a first-time mother and with nobody around to help me or advise me or tell me how is this thing supposed to be, I just assumed it is a normal bleeding. 2 months later, I was still bleeding. Little did I know that I have a piece of placenta inside my womb, inside my uterus. 2 months later, you can imagine what will have happened to me. When I was almost losing my life, is when they finally scanned me and saw that I have a whole piece of placenta inside my uterus. Then they had to evacuate it. It is really, really scary. This is a really, really scary scenario. Really, really scary. When it happens to you once, you don't want it to happen the second time, and every time you're about to give birth, you get afraid because you always think that the thing will happen again, the situation will happen again. But all I can say, you don't need to be afraid because every pregnancy is different. Maybe it happened with the first pregnancy and the second pregnancy will just be okay. Yeah. So we just have to be prayerful that everything goes on well. I can just say, just put everything in the hands of God because you don't know how it will end. Yeah. So guys, that is my story for today. Until next time, thank you very much for staying with me, and bye bye.